You've made it to the final video in this series. And I want to start by saying something important. The fact that you're here, that you watched, that you listened, that you kept asking how to do better, that already matters. Because that is exactly what your child's brain needs most. Not a perfect parent, a present one. In this final video, I'm not going to repeat the science. I'm going to show you how everything fits together into a single day. A complete, realistic rhythm. From the moment your child wakes up to the moment they fall asleep. Think of this as your reference guide. Something you can come back to, save, share with a partner. Not a rigid schedule, a living framework. Because the brain isn't built by any one habit. It's built by the accumulation of small moments across the whole day. Let's walk through it. Morning. Waking and the first hour. Every day begins with a greeting. You walk in. Your baby sees your face. You make eye contact. You smile. You say their name. And you wait. That 10-second exchange, a squeal, a smile, a response, is serve and return. A neural connection forming in real time. So before anything else, walk in warmly, make eye contact before you speak, and let them respond. Then narrate the morning as it unfolds. Okay, left arm first. Now the right. There you are. The banana is soft today. Can you feel it? Look, the window is all foggy this morning. You're not teaching, you're describing. And that warm, responsive back and forth is one of the strongest predictors of language, attention, and cognitive development we have. And if you can, get outside. Even 10 minutes of morning light sets the brain's internal clock, boosts serotonin, and helps your child nap and sleep better that night. Morning light is a small habit with a long reach. Mid-morning, play and movement. After the morning routine, unstructured play. Not a class, not a screen, just your child. Some open-ended materials, and space. This is where executive function is built. The ability to set goals, manage frustration, shift thinking. These skills predict school success more reliably than early academics, and they can only develop when the child is the one making the choices. Your role here is mostly to stay present without directing. Watch. Comment occasionally. You're stacking them higher. What do you think will happen? Then, let them find out. And let them move. Tummy time. Crawling. Climbing. The motor system and the brain are wiring themselves together. Movement is not an obstacle to learning. For babies and toddlers, it is learning. Midday, transitions, and the nap. Here's a moment most parents don't think about. The transition. Moving from play to lunch, from lunch to nap. You're asking a toddler's brain to do something genuinely difficult. Cognitive flexibility is one of the last prefrontal skills to mature. Rush it, and you trigger a stress response that temporarily shuts down the very region you're trying to develop. So, give it a little time. In 5 minutes, we'll put the blocks away. 2 more minutes, then lunch. 1 more trip down the slide. These aren't concessions. They're supports for a brain that's still learning to shift gears. And then, the nap. The brain doesn't go offline. It goes to work. Every word, every game, every back and forth from this morning is being processed and transferred into long-term memory right now. The nap is not a break from development. It is development. Afternoon, connection and conversation. After the nap, the brain is refreshed and ready. This is your best window for conversation. And we know from the MIT and Harvard brain imaging research that 2 children can hear the same number of words in a day and still develop very differently, depending on whether those words were part of a real back and forth or just background noise. So, make conversation the default, at the park, in the kitchen, at the grocery store. What do you think that dog is looking at? You picked the red one. How does it feel? See how the carrots fall when I cut them? You don't need a special activity. You need presence. Comment instead of quiz. Describe instead of test. Follow instead of lead. Evening, winding down. About 30 to 45 minutes before bed, start reducing stimulation. Screens off. Active play winds down. Lights dim. This protects melatonin, and melatonin protects deep sleep. Deep sleep is when the hippocampus replays the day and transfers experiences into long-term memory. Disrupt that, and the learning from the whole day consolidates less effectively. A warm bath helps. The slight drop in body temperature that follows signals the brain to shift from activation to rest. Cortisol drops. The nervous system downshifts. 10 minutes. Every night. Simple biology. Bedtime. The last 20 minutes. The last 20 to 30 minutes before sleep may be the most neurologically valuable part of the day. The University of Sheffield research showed it clearly. Babies who learned something just before sleeping retained it. Babies who stayed awake after learning the same thing did not. The brain encodes what happens just before sleep with particular precision. So those last minutes deserve care. Read a story, not as a box to check, but as a real, warm exchange. Pause for their reactions. Follow their pointing finger. Wait for the babble, the gesture, the wide-eyed look. Then, gentle touch, a soft voice, a familiar phrase. Good night. I love you. You are safe. That's the brain's final message to itself before sleep. The day is complete. I am safe. Time to grow. One honest look at the whole day. Here it is in one breath. A warm greeting. Narrated mornings. Morning light. Free movement and unstructured play. Slow transitions. A restorative nap. Afternoon conversation. A calm evening wind down. A bath. A story. Gentle touch. Sleep. That's it. Not a program, not a curriculum, just a rhythm, repeated across hundreds of ordinary days that gives a developing brain exactly what it needs. The honest reality. Some days you'll do most of this, some days almost none. You'll be tired, you'll be rushing. The TV will stay on too long and bedtime won't go as planned. That is not failure. That is being human. Research tells us that parents don't need to get it right every time. Around 30% is genuinely enough, as long as repair happens when it doesn't. And repair is itself a brain-building experience. When you come back after a hard moment and say, I was rushed earlier. I'm sorry. Let's read together now. Your child's brain learns something that no flashcard can teach. Relationships survive difficulty. Safety returns. I am not defined by the hard moments. Those are some of the most important lessons a developing brain can ever receive. A final word. I want to end with one question. What is one thing from this series you want to bring more of into your days? Just one. Maybe it's a slower morning greeting. Maybe it's putting the phone down during feeding. Maybe it's 10 minutes of free play each afternoon. Maybe it's a quieter, more consistent bedtime. Start there. Not with all 6 habits. Not with a perfect schedule. Just one small, consistent shift. Because this is what the neuroscience ultimately tells us, small things, done consistently, across hundreds of ordinary days, build extraordinary brains. And you are already doing more than you know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring enough to ask the questions. Your child will never know how much thought you put into the ordinary moments of their earliest years. They won't know, but their brain will. End of series.